Apparently, it's one of the longest Fed chair speeches at Jackson Hole in history. It's like 3,600 words, which for a guy who says he doesn't like forward guidance, it seems like a lot of talking, right? But I think it goes back to the idea that he was trying to correct some of the last presser. And the fact that he did explicitly mention that the Fed cares about PCE is probably what the market was looking for. That said, I think the more people kind of digest this, the more uncertainty they're still going to see around the reaction function. And the key thing for me was when Warsh was talking about he has to see inflation at sufficient speed. What is sufficient speed, right? Like we know inflation above target is bad, but like the speed at which it's moving, that seems very subjective.
Well, Joe Weisenthal knows that you are who you quote in your speech.
That's
so
right.
he quoted the monetary theorist Chuck Yeager, grew up dirt poor in West Virginia and did all of our physics, all of our aerospace, high up in the air. What do you make of the quote from Yeager, which to me signaled he didn't want to talk about process, it was just about this and that?
No, I mean, look, I think I would give him a lot of credit for stopping just short of the obvious implication, but making the obvious implication clear, right? So the other thing he said was clearly he does not consider policy to be restrictive right now, or insufficiently restrictive. And he also talked about, inflation generally going in the wrong direction. So if you don't think that policy is sufficiently restrictive, and if inflation is not going in the right direction, 99% of the time that leaves you to one obvious conclusion. And so, again, it's not forward guidance, it's not hand-holding, etc., but it is an articulation of the fact that basically, for the first time since he's been the Fed chair, there's sort of indication that's like, policy needs to get restrictive. There's a tool to do more, that's called rate hikes. Hence, we see the move at the 2-year that would be inferred.
I mean, Odd Lots is way too hip, and they're so au courant for me. You people are in Los Angeles here in a number of days a week. Tracy, Alloway, when we talk about productivity, innovation, that's what the papers are about, right?
Stablecoin. We're talking about the use of the dollar in stablecoin.
A lot of people don't believe any of it. Kate Moore's here believing in productivity. With all the interviews you do you believe in productivity?
Do I believe in productivity?
But they're both incredibly productive. I think they're demonstrating
I like
productivity.
to say that in my daily work, I sometimes witness productivity. But no, productivity, obviously a huge topic, because for Warsh especially, it's like his giant get out card, right? If we do get the productivity boom, if that ends up as a deflationary force on some prices, like then he really doesn't have to be as hawkish as he might otherwise not want to be. Do we see evidence of it right now? Not yet, right? Like in the numbers that we're looking at, I don't think we've seen the big productivity boom. It's this kind of thing that's always coming down the road, but we talk a lot about it, but we have yet to see it in the actual numbers.
For example, you could imagine that we could cover a Jackson Hole speech from our computers at home in Bloomberg and save all kinds of, time and effort, etc. There could be an imagination.
So what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, the truth is, not only do we enjoy the environment, but it's also wonderful to get the tangible sort of discussions
and you meet
and
a
the
lot
feeling
and you meet
the
a lot
air.
of people.
What are you doing?
No, absolutely. I unironically get there's a tremendous amount of value from the people we get to meet and talk to at one location. I'm just being facetious, but it is the big thing. That's clearly everything else, setting aside inflation, setting aside employment. That is the get out of jail card for everyone in every economy. It's how much more can you get per some labor input? Hence why I thought it was very interesting, probably a first in history, 3 paragraphs about AI token prices.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's very interesting. And that's going to be a big deal. And not just the cost of AI token, but thinking about, is this competition for labor? How do we think about where in the classical factors of production AI services fit in is a big deal.
I know we got to wrap it up quickly here. I love what Terry Haynes said of Pangea policy. It's a sagebrush Davos. Everybody's looking at AI in this. You know what? Half of America's flat on their back.